Hey everyone, welcome back. Here we are together again, excited to talk about our chat this weekend. And we continue to evolve, continue to change while still working hard on anti-racist practices for our classrooms, for our schools. And so this week we are going to look just a little bit differently. We're going to actually start out, last week we felt like we moved a little too quickly. The week before, we felt like we were maybe not moving fast enough. So this week, we're going to start out with some welcome time at the beginning. We'll give you 5 or 6 minutes to welcome each other, really build those connections, and then also do some reflections. What have you learned this week? What are maybe some things you've tried this week? Taking time to reflect, because we know that learning and unlearning and relearning is huge, but we want to make sure that we're taking time for action as well. We want to share that. And then we'll look at some questions related to graphics again, like we've been doing. And then at the end of the chat, though, we're going to kind of slow it down a little bit and take questions from you. And then take some time as a Grit Crew EDU to answer some of those questions that you may have. And some of the questions we might not have answers for yet, but we'll work to get there. So just a little rundown on our new format for this week. Shelly, you want to share a little bit more?
Sure. So again, we want to recognize our wonderful friends, Don and Traci, who are putting so much work in for all of us behind the scenes. The thought that they've put into this, the planning that they've put into bringing these chats together has just been really phenomenal. So we want to continue to recognize the incredible work that they're doing. And what's really exciting about where we're headed, and Don and Traci will share more about this, is that we're really moving into now starting to think about even more than we have, the opening of school, and how do we get ready for that? How do we anticipate some of the things that are going to potentially happen when we're back in our schools and classrooms? And so we're starting to build more and more into how do we set up for that? Who are the people that we want to have around us? How do we create spaces to do the anti-racism work that's so necessary in our classrooms? And so this week we're going to make some transitions into that space as well. And Don is going to kick us off a little bit to share more about what this week and beyond will look like. So Don.
Great. Thanks a lot, Shelly. Yeah, so this week we're going to transition to talking about something I like to call intentionally designed villages. And so those are really, if we think about that old proverb that says it takes a village to raise a child, we agree with that, definitely. We need a lot of people when we consider taking care of the needs of children, especially at school. But we want to make sure that we're intentionally designing those villages at school. We want to have a range of voices, diverse voices, who are reaching out to our students so that they can hear stories of all different types of people. But we also need to think about, what does that look like as it's embedded in the curriculum? Who is talking to our kids? What are they telling us and telling them? And then how are we connecting the learning even between classrooms? Who are our planning partners? How do we bring a rich, diverse curriculum that fosters attitudes of tolerance and that really helps our kids to understand what anti-racism education really looks like? And so we're going to start building out those villages. We've established our Grit Crew. We've talked about setbacks. We've developed an awareness. We've done all of the pre-work, right? So now, as Shelly mentioned, we're going to figure out how we transition into the classroom and start to really open up that discussion, because we need voices of all kinds who are reaching out to help us together as that intentionally designed village to raise these kids of ours. Traci, you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So as you can see, we've spent a lot of time focusing on that self-awareness piece, but that's only one piece of it. And then we've really spent a lot of time on establishing your Grit Crew EDU, because that is important to do the work. But the work, at the very core of the work that we're doing, is the students. That's why we're all ultimately here to, yes, transform ourselves, but how can we continue to create an environment for our learners to be better because of the work that we're doing? So with that being said, we have to be very intentional about the voices that we invite into our classrooms. And that's specifically what Dawn is going to be talking to us about on Saturday. So the communities we live in, the schools we teach in, sometimes are not that diverse. And it's up to us to make sure that even in spite of lack of diversity, that our kids still see diversity within the classroom. And that is exactly what we're going to help you do with intentionally designed villages. Back to you guys, Beth and Shelley.
So for all of you, we just want to continue to say and thank you for being on this journey with us. We are so impressed with the LeadLAP crew and their commitment to doing this work. And again, so grateful, Dawn and Traci, for you doing and modeling for us and taking us through this leading by learning, so that we can all get back into our schools and classrooms this fall, armed with better resources and a better mindset to tackle anti-racism.
Yes, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing everybody Saturday morning. Take care.